Welcome back, dear viewers, and you're still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about Egypt's vaccination campaign against coronavirus, as Egypt received on Sunday the first batch of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. And to shed more light on this issue, I'm joined by Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager, Inspector in Health Insurance Authority. Good afternoon, Dr.
Good afternoon.
So, sir, let's begin by the massive vaccination campaign against COVID-19, which started in Egypt recently. How do you see this step?
First of all, I'd like to thank proudly the Ministry of Health for their efforts about contain and combat the COVID-19, for not even providing the medication on hospitals for COVID-19. Also, as well, they make now a home visit for self-isolated people at home. In January, they make like 64,000 home visits for these people who are self-isolated at home. This is the first. Secondly, we are talking about the vaccination campaign, and we should talk about two certain vaccine which we have already received it, which is a Sinopharm vaccine and AstraZeneca vaccine. By 24th of January, Minister of Health, Dr. Hala Zaid, gave a green light for vaccination with Sinopharm vaccine for the quarantine doctors and medical teams. And when we talk about vaccination, we're supposed to know that to take immunity against COVID-19 or even any virus, there is only two ways to get it: through first, to be infected actually with the virus, to be affected actually with COVID-19 or any other virus. Yes, or
immunity. Sorry.
Yes, you can say that, but you're supposed to take the virus to get antibodies against the virus. The second way is the vaccination. So we're supposed to know that vaccination is very important, especially for the high-risk people. High-risk people who are facing the virus all the time.
The elders and those with chronic diseases.
First, there is priorities for that.
Above 60.
First is the medical team in a quarantine hospital. Second is the medical team in a screen hospital. There is something called a screen hospital. This is to distinguish the infected cases. Third is the elderly people over 65 years old. Four is the people who are having a chronic disease like cardiac disease, like hypertension and so on.
Yes.
And the last is the normal people. This is the priorities for vaccination.
Yes.
Then we can shed more light about the Sinopharm vaccine and AstraZeneca vaccine.
And the difference between them.
First, we talk about the method of production of all of them.
I think AstraZeneca is coming from India.
Yes, it's under license of AstraZeneca of England company, but it was
manufactured
in India. Yes, that's right. For the method for production of Sinopharm is depending on the traditional way for production of vaccine, which is called heat-cooled vaccine. They make weakened for the vaccine. So once it's introduced to the body, after a certain period of time from the first dose, the body creates an antibodies against the virus. But it is a heat-killed vaccine itself as a whole. It's an entire virus. Okay? But this is for Sinopharm vaccine. And actually,
the
weakened virus, yes.
The one in Sinopharm, yes.
Yes. And actually, after researches and recent researches, they find it gives like 86% efficacy.
But this is not dangerous because this is
Yes,
the way.
that's right.
Yes, the way vaccines
when
are
you
manufactured.
when you make vaccine with a traditional way, that gives it a good criteria, which is
More safety.
more safety and have less side effect on
Yes.
on the
The
long
long
run. That's right. And they found that it gives like 86% efficacy.
And also we
as
can
a
see that in
protection.
China itself, the numbers are decreasing. There is no more
Yes,
coronavirus.
because they look.
Maybe their experience is
Yes,
successful.
look, in China, studies are started once the pandemic start by January or December 2019. They start researches. So they take a long time now, enough time to study that virus, to study the criteria, the properties of that virus. Not like other companies. So they take a long time, they study it well.
In researches.
Yes, in researches. And by the way, to make a vaccine as a traditional way, it's a very hard way, not an easy way, by the way. So they find it gives like 86% of efficacy, which is protection of infection. Protection of infection, yes. And like 99 producing of antibodies against the virus itself once introduced to the body, and 100% protection of progress of symptoms.
Oh, yes.
Which is the very important point. The problem in COVID-19 is the progress of symptoms. It's come like an easy common cold. Then it develops the symptoms more severe day by day. That will prevent the progress of that symptoms 100%, and this is very good.
This is the Sinopharm. It is taken on 2 doses.
It's taken 2 doses, first dose, and after 21 days, it takes another booster dose. But the production of antibodies, because some people doesn't know or they ask once I take the vaccine, I supposed to be protect from the infection of COVID-19. That's wrong, by the way. The production of antibodies
takes 2 weeks, I think.
Like 15 days. Yes, that's right.
Even in infected people. Even when you get infected, you don't develop antibodies unless after 2 weeks.
Yes, you can develop the antibodies which can fight the virus after 2 weeks. But there is a very important point, by the way, I'm supposed to shout out for it, which is once you take vaccine, this is not enough to be transmit the virus. You can take the vaccine, you can protect yourself, but you can carry the virus to another body. So we're supposed to know that we're supposed to.
So when you take the vaccine, you are not infectious. You will not infect anyone.
No. When you take the vaccine, you protect yourself
and you
because of the antibody which you created.
And you will not test positive for it.
Yes, but you can take the virus itself and be positive and carry the virus to another body. This is very important point. So precautionary measurement supposed to be side by side with vaccination. Vaccination only to protect yourself from the problem of symptoms, severe symptoms of the virus.
The main
aim of the vaccination is to protect the development of the virus, so that you delay the
You
overload
decrease the
for
mortality
yes,
rates.
decrease the immortality and to decrease the overload on hospitals.
Yes.
Because you know when
When we have critical cases, of course, the healthcare system collapses.
yes, that's
Collapses,
right.
yes.
That's right. That for the Sinopharm vaccine. But and by the way, we received the first batch of Sinopharm vaccine on December of 2020. And we're supposed to thank Emirates State for what they do. Yes, because we get it by help of Emirates State and the company of G42, which is an Emirates State company. That's for Sinopharm vaccine. For AstraZeneca,
I think it works in a different way.
the method of production even of AstraZeneca vaccine is different from Sinopharm vaccine. AstraZeneca vaccine depend on a generic engineering, which is a modern method for production of vaccine. There is some vaccine called adenovirus, some virus called adenovirus, which causes a normal common cold with a very light symptoms. They insert a part of mRNA of COVID-19 from the spike protein of COVID-19 into that adenovirus. Then they insert adenovirus with a part of mRNA of COVID-19 into the body.
Yes.
So the body recognizes the small part of mRNA of COVID-19 and create an antibody for that part. Okay? So it's not like Sinopharm, which is a traditional way. But that way, they find a very good result from that way.
Yes.
The recent researches and recent results said that 76% having a protection once they take AstraZeneca vaccine from the first dose. From the first dose.
Yes, antibodies.
For 3 months.
Okay.
Protection for 3 months from the first
and
dose.
Of course, it will get better when they take the second
dose. Yes. When you take the second booster dose, you support the antibodies for the body.
Yes.
In addition to that, we can talk about the conditions of storing for AstraZeneca and for even Sinopharm, which is doesn't need a certain temperature for storage. Sinopharm vaccine and AstraZeneca can be stored from 2 to 8 degrees centigrade, which is the refrigerator.
Yes, more easy.
Yes, more easy to be transferred from one place to another. And even AstraZeneca, we can talk about even the price, which low price, and can be available for many people. At the same time, I'd like to shout out on a very good point. Egypt nowadays are thinking not only for importing vaccine. As you know, we are the first country in Africa who make clinical trials for COVID-19, for Sinopharm vaccine on 3,000 volunteers here in Egypt. One of them was the Minister of Health,
yes.
Dr. Al-Zaid. And the first African country who bring the vaccine actually and start for vaccination actually. And we are thinking now not for importing only, we're thinking for sharing the production of vaccine. There is agreement, manufacturing, yes.
The vaccine in Egypt?
Yes.
Okay.
As a cooperation with a very famous company for production of vaccine in an Egyptian company which have a very good experience for production of vaccine long time ago.
Yes.
A national company.
Yes.
That will give us a priority to cover all Egyptian people for vaccine, and even for exporting vaccine to other African countries.
Finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager and Inspector in Health Insurance Authority. Thank you, sir, for being with us and for this precious information. And dear viewers, by that we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Thank you for watching.